I'm back now. Hope y'all come back. We're experiencing technical difficulties. We're back. This thing acted up. Okay. I'm back. Yeah, we back. I had a little experiencing some technical. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, I'm back. Hope Ted come back. I had some problems. I don't know what the heck that was. Anyway, keep on talking. Keep on talking. I said, what's up? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I'm back. Hopefully. Keep on talking. Can you hear me okay? I hate this thing went off like that. Said hi. We back. We back. We back. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. I did a video about it. Um, it was suspect. Thank you. I hope Ted comes back. That was a major, these things act funny sometimes. Yeah, you know, there's truth to that. There's truth to that. There's truth to that. They wanted Dave Robinson to get the scoring title, and he was the admirable. David Stern had nicknames for all the people in the plot, so it's not a surprise. I think I've talked about how David Stern ran his NBA, so I think I've addressed that before. If I haven't, if you haven't, and I will address that again. He was very much a yeah, and he knew how racist Sterling was too. So, hmm hmm well, he wanted shot to conform. He airbrushed Allen Iverson out on a photo shoot for his tats. Uh, no, his game ain't suspect. That ain't no. Dave Robinson could play. There's no question about it. David Robinson could play. I'm not gonna sit there and have anyone diss him. He could play. What's happening? How you doing? It's just that the only problem I have with Dave Robinson is I just didn't think he brought it when it came money time. You never hear me say he couldn't play. You never not gonna hear me say he's not one of the 10 greatest NBA centers ever. You know, so all depends on what your preference is. And you know what? It's politics, yo. He was a Navy man, and it be like that. There's a lot of politics involved, yo. Lots. And I'm not saying I condone it. I don't want to take nothing from how great he was as a player, but there's a lot of politics involved, man. I've been watching the basketball for a long time, and I didn't heard stuff, seen stuff, so that's not exactly that shocking. We there's a lot. There's a lot. Game 7 and 84, Birds said you overheard someone in the stand said they wanted the Celtics and Lakers to go 7 because Stern had said that. You know that all the drafts are like rigged because Patrick Ewing going to New York. I still remember that one back in '85. That thing was so fake. That was comical. And of course, LeBron going to Cleveland. They got to get physical with him. They didn't really stop him. They just got to put some bodies on him. That's not going to hardly happen too often. But I ain't nobody lock him up. He came in here 25 last night. He had 25, 9, and 3. Lockup is when I see that guy hit the walls. Now, I will say this. I do think the end is near for him. I will say that. I do think he's probably got like a couple more years after this year. Maybe he gets to 40. He got a outside shot, crack at maybe 30,000 points for his career. But I don't think that there's going to be a lot, maybe he gets 2 or 3 years strong. And I do think he'll have some games where he gets, but you got to be really, you got to catch the rest where they don't give no calls and they circling him properly because he tends to wear you down more. The guy's still averaging like 25, 23, 24, 24 points a game. So not hardly a lockdown. Wake me up when the cat's barely cracking 15 a game. He's still crazy enough to go for one of them 10 3-point games and one of them 40 points. So I am not even going to entertain because he's still crazy enough to have some crazy games. He still got it. What's up? Thank you for coming back. Thank you. Had a little technical difficulties, but I am back. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. You ain't gonna hear me say that. But anyway, Ted, let me address you about what you were saying. If it was like if Denver was in second place and OKC was, and it was like nip and tuck, then I'd say, okay, I understand that. Or if he was in the East, it was like the Cleveland OKC situation, and say Jokers was with Cleveland and it was a draw. Because I think they should have like an Eastern Conference, Western Conference MVP. Um, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have never, I've never ever seen in the same division where I say two guys could have been MVP because they weren't winning. That's up with that. Because they were a team that was in the final 2 years ago, and then you fast forward now, and no one is taking Denver serious. So we got to stop this romanticism about Jokic. He's not holding that team accountable. They're not playing no defense. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon are not stepping it up. They got talent to be a legit team that should be coming out. No one is afraid of Denver. Aside from him, what else they got? They don't play no defense. If they score 130, they can give you 131. They're losing the crappy teams. They're losing chippy games. No. Well, who you want me to start with? He ain't the problem, though. The problem is they don't play no defense. That's their problem. Well, Nick Nurse went to Philly, so you got to excuse that one. He's still there. The Lakers got rid of Frank Vogel. He said bench Westbrook. They got rid of him. Boozer, Mike Ben, yeah, Milwaukee now with Phoenix. You see why he gets fired. He gonna get fired from Phoenix too. He gets you going and then he blows it. I don't know why. No, he be hurt before that. He been consistent before that. They not a consistent team. That doesn't mean that they're translating to 50 plus wins. That's not winning basketball. That's stat basketball. There's a big difference. You can like him individually, but his team is not winning. He's chasing history. They gonna probably win. And Kendrick Perkins is probably right because as great as Cleveland is playing, Porzingis is back, and they don't even look like they're. And I did that video. I addressed it in the video about the Joe Mazzulla. I think the Joe Mazzulla, the what they've done, is why these coaches got the heat on their butt. I think it's more about the Celtics than it is about the Lakers. Cause Joe Mazzulla, they cool and calm, don't sweat nothing. And look, and Tatum and Brown, it's they could rep for a while. They could rep for a while. I think everybody think they got to go through them. So I think the Celtics are the team you got to beat. I really do. I really do. And if I'm honest, I don't see nobody that's gonna beat them a 7-game series. Well, he can go and say that, but Booker T. Remember when Booker T got that TV title? Booker T didn't have no name. Yeah, they tolerate a lot of different things through Vince McMahon. And obviously, Vince McMahon, his wife is working for Trump. So how we supposed to address that when they stay getting paid? They stay in position. And what are we supposed to do with that? And two things are true. You can call him that, but that's what he allowed himself. And then they know how Vince McMahon gets down. They know Vince McMahon ain't got no love. Yeah, but see, Mike Brown stays getting fired. Mike Brown is the kind of cat that he wears his welcome out too. You saw what happened in Sacramento. And I like Mike Brown, but it only goes so far. Yeah, but Malone was getting to be one of them kind of cats that was talking loud and Denver wasn't giving results. Now I'm gonna say this: if you have a dominant player, you gotta rep yourself to go into the finals. You got to be a threat. Denver is no threat. They 2 years removed from winning the chip. We're not in the 70s or 80s or 90s where you happy. People want dynasties. I'm not saying it wasn't. And I'm not I don't know what Booker T's situation is like. I don't know. You know, he could get exposed. Depends on where he go, you know. I hope he don't be an Adam Morrison type. Depends on where he go. Gonna depend on where he go. I didn't say he couldn't, but he remind me. He's giving me early Tom Chambers type of vibes, but I don't know where he's at. Or to be Chris Bosh, he got to be something special. It depends on who he play for. Give me a team and we can talk. Give me a head coach and we can talk. I can't go by sight unseen because playing in college and the pros is different. Now that'll help his career. Oh God, if he plays with the Celtics, he's unless he sucks, he's gonna be treated like a prince. Are you kidding me? You know good and well he ain't going to no Celtics. He'll probably end up with like probably be somebody like I don't know, probably Sacramento. Yep, probably sounds more like it. Probably, and he kind of remind me of a lot of Connect. That's what he kind of remind me of. Oh, Connect, who the Lakers got. Connect ain't been the same since he got traded to Charlotte and came back to LA. Cause I saw that block last night. You think I didn't? He ain't been the same since. I do see white players working stars. You just have to put the work in. That's all. You know what? De'Aaron Fox fell off, yo. He fell off. I loved him, but he stinks now. He got to get his head on. It's always been like a players club. Uh, you know, the problem is stat pad and happy, and they're not going. Trey Young is basically having a fun, and they're not really trying to do nothing. And they got some talent there too. They are too. Um, he never fell on. It takes time, yo. Takes time. You know, it takes time. You asking me a question like that, Jay Will. I saw so many of them growing up. Yeah, Austin can make a case. I don't know how good he really is though outside that Laker for you now. Now that I can't answer. He looked really good with that situation, but he could go somewhere else. And he not to me, he's not. To me, he's not. I think he good. I think he has some out of body moments. I'll attribute to out of body. Because Udoka be putting wood to Curry's back. That's why. Udoka don't be getting starstruck. Ask LeBron. He put wood on you. They what they did is that they bunched up on Curry. That's all they did. And the refs didn't call some of that stuff. And he missed some shots and that was it. I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it because the Lakers choked the last 2, 3 games. Guess who's right on their behind is Golden State. So hey, I seen that video and he's trying to mac on her, trying to use them big words he like to use. She probably liked it. And you know, when you got them $64,000 words, you better be putting them to use. You should. I mean, she probably would. But her, I ain't in it. I don't got nothing to say about it because, you know, she liked it for a moment. I just think that the NBA depends on who you get drafted by. I think about your totality, depends on a lot of factors. You know, if you can play, you can play. A lot of times, most of the white players have settled for being role players and slot players, and that's what you got now. Yeah, that's not no big news, though. We knew he was done. The thing we're gonna remember is that catch against New England in the Super Bowl, and that he pretty much was forgotten the last 5 years. McLovin, old Matt McClung, who's gonna be like a G League legend. He'll probably retire. He'll be like pushing. He'll be like the what? The Al Horford of the G League. Yeah, watch. Yeah, two different types of receivers though. Because Julio got the most of his, but it didn't end well in Atlanta. And then AB, he just he basically tanked out. But I think white guys in the NBA, it's more about the mechanics of who they playing with. Again, I always tell you all the time, you ask me, it's who you with. Yeah, I know. But the self-destruct for about 5 of them. That's a shame too. Because we should be talking about that guy's the first ballot Hall of Famer. We should debating where he is, and it's all for naught. Yeah, of course he wants out. Miami sucks. Well, you want out too. Probably will. I did a video about the Yankees went cold last night against Detroit. Giants got a nice little squad. I saw Mike Yastrzemski hit that home run. They got a nice little squad. Yeah, but green pasture ain't always best on the other side because Mahomes, all he done is camp out in the Super Bowl since Tyreek done left. Tyreek barely get to the first round in Miami. And we know they can't play in the cold. They suck anything after December 1st. So, yep, it's not looked out good for him. I only believe it when I see it. Listen what month you're getting excited about. Now wake me up when we're in November, October, December, and then we're just looking at the Bears and go, "Oh yeah, they got their hands cut tied out. They got a lot of work to do, and that division is tough. It'll tell you, phenomenal. Who they gonna beat? Phenomenal. Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit. They better. You stick to your Cowboys because Ted gonna clap on you for that mess. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. This how? Yeah, well, Seattle tends to like those kind of cats. That's what they do. Geno Smith had an outer body in Seattle. No one is buying that that's the real him. Listen, he stunk for like 30 years until he finally woke up and played good ball. Because he started looking like Geno. He started throwing some bad picks, and the division was weak sauce, and he didn't do nothing. They had a chance at the end of the season because the 49ers tanked, Arizona choked, and the Rams and them, and he couldn't get the job done. So I'll see what happens with him and the Raiders. I'm not excited. You know, I'm not a Geno holic, so you know, glad y'all excited about Geno. I didn't seen enough of him to know that it could end badly. Sorry. Gino got more how do I want to say this the best way I can? He got more Jameson Winston tendencies than, you know. No thoughts right now. Cause again, I heard the whole thing about Shonda Sanders. Gotta wait and see where people go. The Bills need defense, yo. They gotta bust the line. That's the nutshell right there. Gino just learned how to win the 9-10 games the last 2 years after being in the league for 22. So I don't have no stock in him. Where's he gonna win 9-2 games at? The Raiders suck. He should stay on TV. Yeah, the Bills got to beat on the line, yo. They went and got old boy from the Chargers. They got the wrong Bosa, so they're trying to hope they can figure out how to stop the line. That's the key. Yeah, I like him better on TV too at this stage. Well, that way, he won't throw no picks. Yeah, Gino gonna have to. If he wins 9 or 10 for the Raiders, he'll probably be up for MVP. Because they're not better than Kansas City, and they're not better than the Chargers, and they're not better than Denver. So he does that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We know that. We know that. We know that. And plus, Baker is playing for his like 30th team in 10 years. So yeah, we already know because Baker ain't even solid with Tampa Bay. He just did enough to get over, and that division sucks. He ain't that good. He ain't that. He ain't. He can resort back to his old ways. It's just that they let's just say that when you got the right complexion for the protection, they have a tendency to find a way to make you look good, even if you ain't that good. And I ain't stutter. So I've been watching ball. I've been watching enough. They do that in football a whole lot. Now you might get the black exception like a Geno Smith, but there's more of guys like of like Baker and cats like who was I gonna pick on? Rich Gannon. They be finding these cats. They make them, and Joe Flacco gonna be around for 30 years. They do that with them. I'm just saying. What's a double standard? Oh yeah. Hmm. That's because he been running his mouth. That's why he ran his mouth too much. Hmm. I'll trip off with somebody who didn't look like him did it too. Um. Hmm. Let me think. Because I go back with college football. So you asking me, do I think he was better than Herschel Walker? Do I think he was better than Vince Young? Do I think he was better than Reggie Bush? You gotta remember something. That's what I just said. And that's all kinds of laughter. Yeah, but Cam had a better career than Tebow, I think. I mean, I said about Slim Thug. He the one been on Reggie, always on Willie D talking about we don't need the reparations and we was okay. We were like, okay. That dude was like, okay, pal. That win against SC in the Rose Bowl, you gonna tell me that don't carry crazy weight? Why don't you ask Ted? Give me Vince Young's Rose Bowl championship run against Tebow. I'm gonna have to do that video about Carmelo Anthony because I was hearing about him. It's not surprising though. Um, top five resume. You talking about ever in college football? Because if we talking about ever, OJ Simpson got him beat. Dare I say Archie Griffin got him beat? Yeah, okay. I can't say that about Tebow. If we're talking the last 25, 30 years, that's a different story. If we're talking about overall college football, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, Ricky would. They always do. Ricky was bad. Ricky's the second baddest back I seen come out of Texas. Of course, Earl Campbell's. Yeah, media does it. They do. Okay. Ron Dane. I ain't heard that name in so long. He was tough in college. He won't come up in that argument, but he was tough. He was very good. I remember Mike Hart. Charles Woodson was too. It's hard when you say top five in college unless you quantify like the last 25, 30 years. Yep. So like when we have college basketball debates and Christian Leighton's name comes up, I can say the last 40 years, yeah, because Duke won. He was great. You know, depends on what era we talking. So but you mentioned some names I ain't heard in a while. Hmm. But it's very again, it's subjective with that. It's kind of hard to argue against those three. Unless you want to argue for Patrick Ewing, unless you want to argue for hmm, Isaiah Thomas, and you want to argue for mine, I'd probably say Kareem, Bill Walton, and Pistol Pete. Or if I was going to do a different three, I'd say Walton, mm, Patrick Ewing, mm, what's what I pick on? I might say Isaiah Thomas because Indiana was bad. I mean, he was bad in college. I lost him. Yeah. Izzo, time with the Izzo. If he starts to feel like John Calipari to you, then you would say overrated. If he feels like John Calipari style, a cat that's been kind of just sitting there ain't done it in a while, I wouldn't quite say it yet, but it may be leaning that way. Now, if Jokic goes to Golden State, Steph Curry gonna probably play till he's 52 then, because ain't no way in the world he would not stay there and play 10 years with that guy. I did a video on it and I laughed because she can't base it on nothing. He up here talking about he caught Kareem his last year. I'm like, yeah, Kareem was only 83 years old. Sometimes parents don't know when to get out the mix. Sometimes they're trying to be the kid and live vicariously through him. I do think his dad be doing a bit much. And I think that there is a certain, a type of you got to know when to let Junior get his own. There is some truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that because Jar is stunted. You can act kid like, but you can't be up there cutting up when he man's at the game and you trying to hoop back. You just some stuff you can't be doing. Y'all can say that when y'all out in the streets or something, but y'all messing up the team's chemistry. But y'all's got to get his discipline stack. Because, like I said before, he for run to mess up. Shoot, Shay's making him look old now. And everybody already don't think you gonna do nothing in the postseason. Actually, I agree with Brian Windhorst. Jaws got more to play for right now come this postseason because his career is on the line. His antics and his cheap tricks, shoot, it gonna be something like Adam Silver gets on him. Only tolerate him because he's got superstar potential and they can sell him. That's the only reason. Yep, got to. Hey, you do what you gotta do. You at the club. You know what's up. That's my son out there. Yeah. Here's my phone number. 1-800 clap back on you. Yeah, they do it. I seen him. In worker room. That's what makes Steph so detailed. It cracks me up. Cause Steph be so focused. That whole thing with his parents at the finals in 22, and he was just focused. He was lasered in. Yep. Sometimes you get so many folks who be starstruck. So they get caught up in it about their feelings. So Yep. All right, keep on hitting these poll questions up. We got to go. I saw her. I seen her. This ain't nothing new though. They've been kind of wilding for quite a while. It just that it came to a full head 3 years ago. Yeah, Delonte was homeless the last time I saw him, so I hope he's okay. Yep. And then LeBron knows stuff. LeBron be knowing stuff. Well, he shouldn't. Oh Lord, dude, you don't tell me you Shannon Sharpen up in here. We keep it alive. We got that vibe. Not in five. Don't start. Don't start that mess. Oh boy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He had nothing to do with that. That's just unfortunate. And I feel for Delonte. He had nothing to do with that. But I do agree with Ted about the phony goat. Yeah, you have Shannon Sharp. He says, you gonna strive, you can get alive, but you know it's gonna end in five. No, they should. Nobody wanna watch that mess. Don't say that. Don't. Cause Skip talk crazy and Gilbert talk crazy, and I don't want to hear that mess. I ain't trying to hear that mess. Gilbert says enough for clicks and views and bait. I don't hear them two turkeys. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. No, thank you. He did. Call him a weirdo. Hmm. So, well, because if you say something he don't like, he get funny with you. You already figured that out yet, haven't you? Figured that out? You smart man. You a smart man. You didn't figure that out, haven't you? That's why Mike Wilborn didn't stop messing with him. He didn't turned on everybody. Ever since this whole thing with Clutch and they're getting his endorsements, and he pretty much figured that, hey, I put JJ in the job. I got Bronny. I don't need y'all no more. And that ego is getting fed. Shoot, they kiss his behind. He might be a whistle, but he got the job because he been covering him since he was from high school. Yeah, he treats you just like how Trump treats you. Ain't got no use for you no more. He look at you sideways, cross-eyed, and crazy. If you don't talk crazy to him, he ain't got no respect for you. That's why he don't never have no respect for me because I talk about him crazy. He ain't been no face of the NBA since no 2003. Stop that lie. He was not the face of it when Shaq and Kobe were running things. Okay, stop that. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you the last 15 years, but then Curry had took it for a moment. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. All I know is that Windhorst got a job for basically following the kid into the NBA. That's what it was. Windhorst ain't got no pull, yo. Shoot, all they gotta do is tell him they're gonna put him on a tofu diet, and that be the end of it. Cut his budget in half. You think he gonna give up roast beef dinners and steaks and lobsters? Shoot, your 10K in alley. Oh wait, he knows, but he ain't going to. He ain't going to. He could blow a whole lot of it out. Yeah, see, he need to go mind his business. Rodman is gonna tell him I put wood on him. Rodman wouldn't know how to deal with him on defense, though. Rodman ain't impressed. Hmm. What I wanted. So, what you want me to say about that? What am I supposed to do with that? What's up, man? Thank you, TSP. Thank you. Oh, you can jump in. We just talking about the usual with LeBron and Jay Will's trying to how popular and all this, and we talking about Brian Windhorse, and you can look it up. Take your time. Scroll up. Scroll on up there. Talking about the usual ones that we've been talking about. I'm glad to see you in here, though. Um, I know what the eyeball test. Shaq was big on there, but how many chips has he won? And how many finals has he been to? That's nice. But look, Shaq's got four, LeBron's got four. Shaq went to six finals, LeBron then went to 10. That's 16 to guys won. Come on now. Well, thank you. Yeah, I gave Ovechkin his due. Listen, I'm not even a hockey cat, but I'm gonna tell you like this: to dominate in hockey, I know how hard it is to be on them rollerblades, to put that work in, to do that thing. Oh yeah, still a king for me. Yeah, but hockey's tough. So what he did was amazing. Because hockey ain't changed like the NBA has changed. I can tell you that. They haven't made the nets bigger, and they haven't found ways. They still make you get it. Yeah, Hakeem still got him. I said Joker's can sit at the table with Hakeem and Moses. He ain't moved from that table though. You can sit there with him though. That's my knock against Jokic. Y'all can come in here and bring stats and all this stuff until he, you know. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because Kareem, when they got obviously they got Magic, he won, but he was doing things in the playoffs in the '70s with that Lakers team. And you got to make a stand if you're a leader. Shaq could. Shoot. Oh, you gonna tell me that Derek Fisher and Rick Fox are better than what Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr.? Come on now. Yeah, because he up here trying to ask me stuff about like I didn't see Kareem and Shaq play. And they are Jokic is great, but he don't get the mess out of his teams. Pistons are the Pacers of this year. Kay Cunningham is balling. And they could beat somebody in the first round. They could. I think the future is bright for them. I think they gotta get trim some of the fat though, because I think with Stewart and them, they gotta get another score. They tend to play that pseudo tough man ball in England. Um Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a league MVP, had an unstoppable shot, was versatile, and played X amount of years. So Oscar and Magic needed him as much. Okay. And you up here trying to, yeah, it takes more than 1-2 punch. But at the same time, if the guys are dominant and winning, it overrides. Yeah, I know that's coming tonight. I mean, it really is frustrating when somebody tries that say, well, because they didn't win with that. He ain't getting no 70. For real to get ejected again. That's what happened. And we all know why he got in trouble. Because he run his mouth. He spent too much time barking and yapping, and he gets cooked on defense, and he crying and frailing his eyes all snarl up, and they ain't say nothing. That's what got his butt in trouble. He always looking to get bailed out. He always helping the wrestle help his behind out. Always looking. Nah, he ain't getting no 79. Could be a trap game for him. I know that. I might have saved some juice because AD could go off tonight. Y'all forgot all about Anthony Davis. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like this. When you're trying to downplay what Kareem did, listen, Oscar Robinson is great, and of course, Magic and all that. But Kareem, come on now, he's going to the Hall regardless. What you mean? First of all, he's been in two Eastern Conference Finals. You can speak for yourself. Shaq would have taken this team. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray, are you kidding me? Shaq would do it. Peak Shaq would have taken them and ran. What you talking about? Especially in this era of NBA too? Are you kidding me? That's because of gets black and white. Yeah, what's up? It's fashionable with black on black. It's always fashionable. Mm, man. They find ways to make excuses for Jokic. They always do. Magic came out and said Kareem played defense, and Shaq was a better defender than Jokic. But they would take the teams he's got now and be doing stuff. Oh well, I think Resky's glad because he respects him because he knew he put the work in, but also because of the fact that Resky ain't the most popular cat right now, so he's okay with it. That's all true. That's all true. He's here panhandling for respect right now. He gets dissed. He's not exactly a guy. You think you're 20 plus years into your career and you up here crying to me, well, Michael Jordan, I don't have a relationship. Well, who cares? Some things you just need to keep that to yourself, but he can't shut his mouth up. He pimped and pushed to get his son in the league. That was a joke. He got Darvin Ham. They gonna diss it before that. He's getting roasted now. Shoot. Because he has made a mockery of so much of what we see. Okay, Jay Will, you got this bad, intense affair for Jokic. He ain't until it comes into three rings. What good is it? He's got one ring and one Finals MVP and those league MVPs. What else has he done? I mean, the thing about it is this. Um, they do. Some of them will try to downplay Barry Bonds, but they do. I'll say this. Jokic is putting up some great numbers and he's a great player. But one finals, one chip, and how watered down, and we talk about how watered down the league is, and you mean to tell me SGA comes along and OKC is okay? It may not matter to be the top seed in the West, maybe it's okay. But you lose all these chippy games to Washington and you're struggling and you are held. You see, let me put it to you like this. You're held to a standard that you have to people holding you to a standard. So when you're not reaching it, it looks like suspect. I'm gonna have to disagree with that TSP for one main reason. I used to watch NBA on NBC in the 90s, and they went out of their way to push the Bird Magic Jordan angle. And they didn't give Dr. J his due. And Earl of Pearl Monroe was asked, he says, I'm not going to sit here and tap and shuffle and let these cats act like I didn't exist. They went a lot of times to push an agenda for Jordan. I saw it with Bob Costas and Peter Vesey. They went their way. Well, the players, because Dr. J didn't get his due. People act like Dr. J didn't have a hand. Um, they act like Dr. J didn't have a hand in bringing the NBA mainstream. The ABA was like the and one mixtape. Um, you know, the reality is you go back, you see a pattern of it. It's just that they do this. They've done that with the NBA. This started with David Stern. So I can't find fault with LeBron or nothing. They were loving affair Jordan up. They romanticize who they want. Now let's go pick with Jordan. No, he can't. Because I'm gonna tell you like this. If Jokic doesn't have, yeah, and who takes KD serious? Who takes him serious? See, if you're gonna mention KD and Jokic, right? And Jokic doesn't say stupid stuff. He ain't gonna come out here and say I'm better than Sabonis. He don't come and say I'm better than Arvidas Sabonis. But KD and them will say stupid stuff. But let me make you on a fact. No, none of them can help when they were born. But I'm gonna tell you this though: have respect and perspective, because people gonna come along and dish your era too. Believe that. And the same thing that you going on about, he ain't had no competition. They gonna say, well, how come he win more rings? Yeah, he is. Weed head, crackhead, junkie head, crying head. Always crying, always got a burner account. Don't be surprised if you see a burner account in here with Durant underscore under upside down. Why y'all talking about me? Watch. Jokic has plenty of help. He just doesn't lead his team. That's what you don't want to hear, Jay Will. He's not a fundamentally a great leader. That team should have the respect to win 55 to 60 games without trying hard. They should have won 55, 60 right now. They didn't blow games. Yeah, he ain't dissing, but what we're talking about is they trying to compare him with him. Probably will probably be like Durant underscore mama gonna get you. See, he don't need that to be on his team. But this is the thing. The West isn't that deep. He's dominant in his position. So how come his team doesn't follow suit? No, they're not. No, they're Aaron Gordon's a bum now. Jamal Murray's a bum now. Michael Porter Jr.'s a bum now. I can ask him to motivate his team. I can ask him to hold them cats accountable. Shaq did. Kareem did. You want to go there? Let's go there. Kareem did. Shaq did. Kobe did. Shh, it sure is. You ain't never lying. Yeah, you know, they were plenty for when you win the championship. Did Aaron Gordon not come up big? Oh, Michael Porter Jr. ain't no bum. He can score. He just is inconsistent as all get out. They sure couldn't. They be trying to pull all the strings out his hair and the grease too. Yeah. Shh. Well, Will Chamberlain did that too, but what's your point? We want you to win chips. We want you to contend for championships. That's what we want. Stop all this stat pattern. Jamal Murray asked the Lakers about who they scared of at the end. Remember Anthony Davis had that 40 plus game and he nearly fallen broke his leg trying to get Jamal Murray when they beat him in that playoff game. He ain't lying. These cats today don't even care. It shows. We sitting on here in these computers and we on our phones or where we are, and we can see how lazy they are. How come anybody else can't see how lazy they are? Cats be clout chasing, liking Cardi B pictures when their butt getting blowed up by 35 points on the sideline. About, ooh, she is fine. Ooh, yeah, ooh, ooh. And drip it, looking at cheerleaders and checking out the. Ain't playing no ball. Ain't playing no ball. You don't coach no more. It's pitiful. So it's different today. It do hit different today. Mm. Let's see. Watch list. The last thing I saw on there, they had Vernon Maxwell on there. That's the last one I saw. Okay, let me address that. He needed them. He got Oscar Robinson when Oscar Robinson is year 11. He needed them. Magic Johnson replaced him in game 6 against the Sixers. They gave Magic the MVP in 1980. They gave him the award. Kareem was actually the real MVP of that series. They did that for Magic. We're gonna act like Kareem was just poor and destitute, and they had to wheel him up and down the court to hang with Magic and Showtime. Like he wasn't working like that. Like he wasn't moving like that. The man had the most unstoppable shot ever. Yeah, I mean, the way to try to downplay Kareem is crazy. Mm. That's because Kareem would have been the MVP the first 5 games, but you ain't conveniently left that out. And I remember that series because it was on tape delay. Had to watch it at my grandmother's house with a bar wire. Had to put the tinfoil on the TV. There Don't suck like that. He got a chance. He got a chance. But I'm not excited because if they've been struggling the last two, and they look inconsistent already. Treating Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like he Ronnie Cycli or something like he's Sean Bradley. It's hilarious. That's because they put him in place to win. But Mr. J. Will, why does Pat Riley call Kareem the GOAT? You know, everybody knows everybody had to go through Kareem. And mind you, Kareem was older than Magic when he played with him, but he came up, you know. The enforcer's rule is basically sometimes intimidation, sometimes it's just getting everybody motivated, letting it be known we're not going down. No one said you didn't need teammates. But at the same time, he had the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. The man was a prolific scorer. The man was taking on the best team's talent every night. So it's a big difference, because it's like you're trying to downplay how great he was. And the Lakers did get to finals post Kareem, but they had no chance against no Bulls. Bloody D-Ross was no Kareem. Mm. Let me just real quick. Yeah. This what's happening? How you doing? No, you're not late. We're here. What's happening? How y'all doing? How you doing? Good to see you. I'm not taking Hakeem over Kareem. The Shaq thing depends on who his teammates and what system and what time period we're in. Because that's close. That's close. Good to see you, Charlene. What's happening? How you doing? Yeah, I bet you did. Mm. I can't do that though. I can't do that. Kareem was too great. But if you didn't get to see him play, ask someone who did. And I'm a huge Shaq dude, and I think Shaq could get him, but it ain't gonna be no rollover. It ain't gonna be no walk in the park. Cause I'm telling you, they threw everybody at Kareem. Moses Malone got physical with him, made him bulk up 10 more pounds. They got all kinds of ways with Kareem, but he was inconsistent. He'd figure him out. Oh, excuse me. Mm. Well, you have to get physical with him. That's what Moses Malone did. You have to put a body on him. I didn't say nothing. I'm not in all that. My issue with you, if anybody asks me, is that you're not giving Kareem his due and you're trying to use the excuse because of who he played with. which enabled them even more. They never were gonna let him be one of those. Woody Page let that be loud and clear. He stepped on the wrong toes. Okay. Mm. We lack sunlight exposure in this hysteria. All right. Yeah, it's tough for people who loved Kareem to listen and because he changed the course of the game. Mm. Let's see. How come this way? One online crime, but be online saving. I don't know what to say. It's dysfunctional. That's because you didn't catch him at his peak in his prime and how unearthly he was. Yeah, well, all them drugs and all that drink and all that stank. What you expect? I mean, come on now. Hit that bad sunburn. Hmm. Yeah. All that stank. All I said was this: you start dissing Kareem like that, you better come better. Early in the season, and I ain't got no expectations until I see what happens. Ask me when we get to the end of September. They're gonna have some ebbs and flows. Some weeks they're gonna look great, and some weeks they're gonna look like trash. Because it's gonna come down to getting on the bases and hitting, not just how many home runs you can hit. I never diminished Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so don't put no we. This ain't France, so I don't put no we. He was great to me. You're the one that's got a problem with him. He was great to me. Shoot, how am I gonna have to argue with a guy who had to? I'm gonna have to argue with a guy who changed the course of basketball. Was considered the greatest high school, college, and NBA player. How many people can make those claims? So, but anyway, if the Yankees got their work cut off for them, it could be a long season. The soundtrack above the rim, and I did like the Friday one, but the above the rim was more original. At their peak to win it all, I gotta say, Wilt. Yeah, of course. That's what I say that because he was on two of the most successful teams ever. Yeah, you had said that one up above, and if he does, good, but that don't mean nothing because the Yankees don't look like they're gonna be. I don't know what to expect. Mm. Well, it's if he gets in, but again, they're not only if it meant that they were winning their division and they were a title contender. Mm. It's just that there are teams that there are teams like the Dodgers that are better coated and suited. That's the problem. They've been divorced about the Hogans. That's old. And he got mad because he had to pay that child support, that house support. That was crazy. Home runs don't matter if you ain't winning, though. They don't look that good. He's from Japan, and Shohei Atani is balling. Yeah, I seen Nick. He be crying. Mm, mm. What you gonna do, brother? Nick Hogan is somebody that I saw. Yeah, he is. Because there ain't nothing to Nick Hogan. That's why. They always do, but then they always find a way to choke. So, I mean, Fernando Tejas is a bad dude. They got some bats, but their pitching tends to get them down. We'll see. We'll see. They've been flirting with this for like the last 3 years. But when Tejada got all them suspensions, that messed them up. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what they got. Lord knows the Padres are entertaining. But you know how entertaining works. That don't mean you win nothing. I told you if I was a San Diego sports fan, I'd be sick. Because the Padres, the Chargers always find a way to blow. You know, we got. Yeah, probably did. And he got booed too. There was at WrestleMania, he got booed. Nobody be tripping about him. He's aged badly. Hmm. His mega ways and his agenda, people turned on him. It wasn't nothing nice. Some do. Depends on what kind of celebrity you are. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, it caught up with him. That's what's happening. The problem with Hogan is that it just not. It looks bad. It looks bad in so many ways. It's not even funny. He did. He said all kinds of crazy flip stuff, and that's what happened. That old Italian in him came out where he couldn't help himself. Hmm. Nope. So, I hear so much stuff about him. It's not even funny. No, what happened was is when he had to pay that child support, pay that alimony. He he was gone. Yeah, Terry Bozzolo or something like that. Bizarre, something like that. His last name. Yep. Hmm. If he didn't dye his hair blonde for like 60 years, you would see it more so. You could see it in his eyes, but it's in the hair. If his hair was dark and swarthy, yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Yep. Something like that. Uh, that's what happened with him. So yeah. We don't really talk about him no more though. He's kind of coming up. But with no selling point, that's the only problem. Strong is all get out, but you couldn't sell him nowhere. I like Tony Ellis, but he had no personality. So the Western Conference breaks has two playoff teams signed off already. I don't know because one of them will make some noise. I know. I still think OKC gonna come out the West. I don't think it's gonna help the Lakers. I don't think it's gonna help them. They don't play no defense, and they're not gonna shoot like they did every game. See, this is why I'm not buying it because they can't shoot like they did last night. Nothing really, because it figured like he had to play like 30 years and he had to get something. I can't see what carry him any more weight. You know, there was a time had he gotten a fifth ring, but it's so long now that it's almost like he forgot. And on top of that, it's more clouded than suspicion. Mm. Yeah, and he's got four rings to show for it. Tom Brady. You ain't talking to someone who ain't been watching sports. Tom Brady had it. Barry Bonds had it too. Jerry Rice had it too. See, I can take a cat. Oh, and a guy named Tim Duncan. Because Tim Duncan's the only one to the 90s, uh-ohs, one-ohs, to do these crazy. Hmm. It's kind of funny. That's, hey, he's entitled to daydream till he get hit. In reality, it'll hit him in his back. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, what tripped me out, he talking about he caught him his last year. I'm like, well, Kareem was pushing 85 his last year. The heck you talking about? Yeah, well, fight the player. I don't know what I'd do if I was the 49ers because they're in a real catch. I think they need to put some hot oil under Shanahan's seat. That's what I think. But long he gonna keep on doing that, and they keep underachieving. They do. Mm. Listen, I watched Steve Kerr. I got a video coming out in a few months about Steve Kerr versus Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge look like Larry Bird by comparison. It sure wasn't. It's the Steve Kerr love is not all this. It was a different way of shooting. He came up the way it's supposed to. Yep. And that's what I was doing when I did my studies on it. No. Well, he's got 28,000 scoring points. They might. Yeah, I remember when he did all that. He was like Forrest Gump. I have to look it up. Uh, Pretty much. That's probably why. Because I'm not thinking about him right now. Yeah, he is kind of like a Steve Kerr is like Forrest Gump. Shoot, you get to play with Jordan and Pippen and Ryman, then you go to Parker Ginobili, Duncan. Then you go to Phoenix and you have to play a GM role, and that don't work out, and you come back playing again. And mm. He was hard to guard. He was physical, and he would come at you. The problem with him was consistency. The problem with him was being disciplined. But as far as bringing it, he brought it. I mean, he didn't score 20 plus thousand points by being a buster. No, he didn't do nothing but score though. That's the only knock against him. He wasn't a guy that was going to give you assists and rebounds and blocks and steals. That wasn't his MO. Yep. I think if he'd have had that kind of mindset when he went to the pros, we probably wouldn't be looking on the fence with him. He was great in college. Yeah. Yeah. Well, because he's a bit of a headache. So, what you want me to lie and say he ain't? He is. I didn't think nothing about it because Carmelo didn't earn the right to keep the number. This ain't an Alex English situation or something. He didn't earn the right to keep the number, so Jokic took it. So what are you supposed to do? You wore it, I'm gonna wear it better. Mm, yeah, one Western Conference Finals appearance in 7 years at the Wizards. It's very much fair game. And he went to New York and he wasn't a threat. Mm, no. Well, Uncle Iverson was older, and they team up with a guy who could play at a high altitude level. And let's see what this goes. Mm. At that time, Iverson was on down on his luck. Iverson was becoming trade bait. They played hard. They were tough, but they were missing that dude. Because Alonzo and Tim Hardaway Sr., bless their souls, they weren't they. They needed that other dude. And that's what hurt them. Well, he probably felt like he outstayed his welcome. Hmm. Did you hear about Ewan and more? Apparently, Alonzo called Ewan and said he wanted to come to New York, and you told him, no, he good. Yeah, I heard about it. It was he trying to be on Maury Povich. Um, I'm sure Alonzo did want to come to New York, but Ewan wasn't giving up his main seat for years to come. Yeah, he does have a starting five. Mm. It probably did. I mean, if you pay attention, he's always trying to sneak on somebody. Or why he don't get no respect now? Yeah, well, let him keep on doing it. They're not paying him no mind. If he said anything, he had to say it in a real slick way. Uh, Let me get my juggernaut skater. Mm. All right. Who you got winning the finals? Who I got winning the finals? Who I got winning the finals? Probably Boston. I saw that. I saw that. I only talked about him calling what he said about Kanye. I don't address a lot of Damien. Damien be doing too much. If you're still on TSP, I'm gonna probably say Boston. I'd love to see OKC and Kansas City and OKC, Cleveland, or Boston. Those are the three teams I could buy. And they're in the right industry. They're in the right industry. Would not be surprised at all. So anyway, there's always some suspicious behavior with Damien. Orlando Brown called him out about Major Payne for Karen Parsons on the set. They passed that to you. Hey, it's Hollywood. What you expect? What do you expect? It's the industry. Tell it all the time. Oh, Orlando said that he was messing with Karen Parsons. He said he's looking at her. Said, "Well, you messing with that married man?" Aiden was all in it. He ended up what he did. You hear that one? What he told Shay? He gave up that house in that gated community. That's where how he met. Yeah, but was it worth giving up your gated community house for Michael Jordan to come over? Was it worth having to pay all that up when you still crying on Shay? Shay asked him. He said, "Do you miss that house in the gated community?" That's what cracked me up. So, and then of course he talked about how he messed with his nephew's girl. They broke up. When you listen to Damien, he always got something twisted. And Shannon's like, "Oh, you're so deep now." I'm like, Deep, all right." So, yeah, if you watch the whole interview, he reveals all kinds of things. Dame is Dame, yo. I've been kind of, I'm kind of, with Dame. So, What you didn't know about the major pain thing, or what you didn't know? He told it. He told it on Shay, but he didn't talk about that part about Karen Parsons. That's what Orlando Brown was saying. Because Orlando was talking in cryptic, but then he mentioned, oh yeah, he said that during the set he was all on Karen Parsons, and and he said Dame messed on his wife, and so in a way he was telling Shay that he gave up the house and gave the community. That's how he met Jordan, but that was part of the divorce settlement. The house cost a chunk too. Well, and then he mentioned about how he fell in love with the nephew's girlfriend and they broke up. He went up to the nephew, says, "Is it okay?" And the nephew said, "That's cool." And then he went crazy. Yeah, Dave's always got something with him. I still remember when he was in Beverly Hills Cop 1. Had that little scene when he had said get the banana for the tailpipe. And yeah, I seen that. I seen that. That's typical. That's Hollywood, yo. So I saw that though. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to tell TSP it's kind of early because the finals lot can happen. But right now, I'd say Boston and OKC should represent. Cleveland, maybe. Mm, yep. Well, a lot goes on. So we got Hollywood kids are strange. That's true. Well, you remember J Lo was messing with that dancer, that Casper dude. He was kind of all over the place. So, it's not a surprise. You know, you gotta do cheeks for checks in Hollywood. I tell all the time, booty for looty. Shoot. You'd be very surprised at the stuff. I don't know if you heard or not. Suge guy had a videotape on her with something allegedly, but J Lo, you know, allegedly it was J Lo and some woman on some video. That's what Suge had. So you know, he got bought and paid. Hmm. You know, they do all kinds of funny business. They do strange for the change. That's uh, what was it? Michael Jackson was. I think he was saying something about Steven Spielberg. It was something. And I know Angelique Jolie, some of that stuff came out. It was some crazy stuff I heard. Billy Bob Thornton. It was freaky deaky. Mhm. And it connects across everywhere that you can imagine. You wouldn't even think it would be. It's very much into what the stuff Diddy. That's what I be telling folks. Booty for Looty. Fleece Johnson Academy. Kid you not. University of Fleece Johnson. Tell you all the time that shoot, that's why the whole thing is tied to Diddy and it's bigger than you think. And it's more when you start to see entertainers getting locked up and all these people, yeah, you probably do. He's gonna be the number one buyer of it though. Him and Shannon can probably cuddle it and dress it up. And look, I don't even want to entertain that thought. But that's what they be doing though. All this mess to make him look like he's some deep icon. That's some craziness. I seen that long time ago, and that was horror. It was horrible. These people take male crushes and celebrity to a whole nother level. Cringed. It was like one of them things that if you don't talk about it, I sure won't bring it up. You ain't hear me talk about that, and that has you. I saw that mess and I looked the other way. I was like, oh, Scooby Doo, bro. I don't even know if it's cool for a kid because I mean, when you're a kid, yeah, you like stuff, but if you know, uh, LeBron doesn't even have that kind of appeal. He doesn't. If you're gonna play that role, Steph Curry would have that kind of appeal. Yeah, LeBron doesn't have that kind of appeal. So, but I'm not with none of it though. Mm. Yeah, yeah, he did. Magic had that. Jordan had that. I think that he is got to play out his mind. I think Brian Windhorst is right. This postseason is huge for his legacy. But I think they're gonna probably try to ship him out. If they get knocked out anywhere before the second round, he's gone. They're gonna be ducking to make a move. Some of her I like, sometimes she's loud. Depends on which way. If she's making real points about Trump or talking about from aesthetic where she's on point about the political agenda, there's things I like about it. But sometimes you get caught doing too much and saying too much. So it depends. It depends. Some things I like, some things are kind of cringy. I generally like 'em, when she's speaking out, but there's things that you gotta stay on point about. Yeah, so it all depends. But John Morant, he needs to come up big in the postseason, or he'll probably be gone. Well, that's what folks do in these streets all the time. So, and they're the worst kind of bigots because then they act like they don't understand what they're doing. But this is the thing. You're gonna go back to your suburban way of life. Ain't nobody gonna question you when you go home. It's a big difference. He'd have to work on his attitude. You really think that well, you think that they're gonna look, Jimmy Butler been to 2 finals. Now you can clown her, and I'm gonna tell you like this, they do be the worst ones. I'm gonna say it like this. Ja is a better talent than Jimmy Butler, probably talent-wise, but mentally, he ain't rap. Jimmy Jimmy took his one trick pony himself and made himself work where you do not work him. That's what Ja's gotta get to. That's why I was trying to explain to Jay Will, we going on about when you going on about Jokic. You gotta put the work in. You gotta make yourself into something, you know. So yeah. Ja could be. Ja should be one of the 5 or 6 best players in the NBA. But he gotta work himself to doing it. He get traded to somewhere, but I hope it wouldn't be where he's past his bull date, where they actually give him a chance to come and contribute. But yes, they do be. They do be the worst kind. Because they make a whole effort to talk about like it's something that's not even authentic. It's an insult, but they don't have people to tell them they're wrong, so they do it. They think they being funny. So that's how I look at it. I got 13 more minutes because I'll be on for 2 hours, and so let's do it. We're gonna talk for 13 more. Breaking down son. So is Aaron Hall. That's nothing new. Well, ever since Cuba Gooding Jr. played OJ in that TV movie, he been like a bonnet on the radar. Mm. He got it, but he don't take heed to it though. He ain't really learned. I ain't gonna lie. If I'm him, you pretty much leave the country and go somewhere they can't find you because they really that so-called charge with that woman and stuff was a joke. That wasn't even chargeable. So that was embarrassing. Yeah, he really been wild, and I see his brother Omar be talking about him, but man. Cuba guy, I know they're coming to make a joke out of his crew. So I don't know. I don't dance in circles with Cuba. I know I heard once he got that Harvey, got that I mean you heard once he got that Oscar, his head got swole and he was acting funny. So Steve, he great on Family Feud. I used to like his stand up a lot more, but it kind of got kind of predictable. I've always said this. He's a double junior whopper Bill Cosby for TV. And he basically stole everybody steals. That ain't nothing new. Because Damon Wayans was talking about Robin Williams stealing jokes. They all steal. So, but Steve Harvey had the Sinbad appeal. He did, but the difference is that Harvey had more personality on TV than Curry. They all take though. I'm not gonna justify, but at the same time, hey, they all take. You gotta connect with your said audience. If you can connect, people will believe you. That's what it comes down to. I hate to be cold like that, but they all take. Yeah, he was, because Bernie was his own, and Bernie was naturally funny too. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Sure, things get compromised, but not that I know of. No, he never, you know, love, honesty, respect, spirituality, communication. Gotta have spirituality, gotta have love, gotta have respect, communication, and you gotta take it like it's biblical. Hey, when you see, it didn't take me all night to think about it. He's complex. Let me say it like this, right? They all are compromised because it's a Hollywood plantation. Now, when they bucking, that's when they going extra. But they all compromise. They gonna have access to his sons because they gonna tie it together. They either gonna come after him and they gonna have to do some talking. You know, they know stuff. It's just a matter how they decide to kind of reel them in. It's gonna come back with more. Um, there have been some shuffling going on with everything. You know, Martin is a bought and paid dude, yo. He followed Eddie Murphy's blueprint. So, you know, like I'll say it like this. I'm not gonna say that he booked, but I'll say that you know, they compromise. They all be because you can't work in an industry and not. That's what Terrence Howard was trying to tell you. Industry ain't no joke, yo. They gonna get you look at you a certain way. So he may not necessarily was toe tapping, but he had to do something. They all do. They don't let you just kind of just dance off into the sunset without owning you, and they own you. So you may not, again, it's done in different ways. Okay. Well, think we don't see anybody coming through. So far, we took the poll. 71% said no. Quite a few people came through today. Okay. What makes you say that? I'm not disputing you, but what makes you say it though? He just got used, you know. He played the game. The worst mistake he did was open his mouth, and then they opened him up because the industry doesn't want him back. That's why. And the worst mistake he did was talk about that alcohol, and that's what got his butt jammed up. You know that Drink Champ show you see on YouTube? That was his. The Will Smith is on there right now. And all that money was tied into so much, but that's what's up. The Revolt. So that company was owned. And matter of fact, sometimes I watch Storm and Roll. Storm and Roll actually had an interview with Diddy. He said that he was told he could do anything on the show except he couldn't talk about Diddy and his mama. So he was talking about it. That's about a year and a half ago. Oh yeah, Diddy owned that, man. And I heard he was gonna give cut Storm a check from Revolt and from that liquor too. All that stuff is connected though. But see, if they don't want you to, you know, Diddy got to hope that Trump may give him a pardon. We'll see. We're gonna see. Let's see what happens. Think about it. That's his last hope. So we about to find out. Hmm. He, she wasn't silenced. She was left in the dark because she didn't understand the paperwork. They didn't give her the right paperwork. They gave her the dummy copy. They gave her the token copy. You know, you can get two copies. You get one copy where you can get increments of 25 grand till you get to 500 grand, or we can give you 250 and then we'll hold you out. And that's what they did with her. So she never got she got it in increments. So she passed with a broken heart, but she knew stuff wasn't right. But you see, it was the team was working for the team. And she trusted Diddy too. Hmm. But Clive Davis and all of them didn't come correct with her. The money funny, yo. Hmm. It's deeper than you can imagine. It's simple, but then it's not. It's chest over checkers. There's some checker moves, but it's more chest. And it runs bigger and deeper. And Puffy was in a unique position, but again, he got too big for his britches. They weren't even looking to take him out, but when he ran his mouth, they found everything to take him out. That's where he messed up. So, yeah, that's how the business works, y'all. I'm gonna go in 5 minutes because I've been on for two. So I'm gonna go in 5 more minutes. By the way, you coming back tomorrow? I got some videos I'm working on tonight that I gotta well, couple things I'm gonna check. Yeah, I seen all that mess. And I've done my, and I didn't. Yeah, if you gonna come on, let me know. I will join up again. I seen all that mess. I ain't got nothing for him. You thought you weren't what you were, and you thought you were too good. He done flipped on you. He gonna flip on everybody. That's why I don't feel bad for nobody. Okay. That's why I don't feel bad for nobody. Do stupid games, play stupid tricks is what you get. Like, please, Migos, please. And see how long I'm gonna show you lazy now. We gonna show you lazy. Ain't gonna move a bone. I'm about to show you lazy. Because if we don't budge, it can't win. And he'll be all messed up. So call people lazy. That's what you gonna what you get, okay? Be careful what you be calling folks. You need them. Yep. You thinking that you better and superior, and that's what's happening. So I got nothing for you. Oh, they're about to find out. They're about to find out because when the DEI, the IOU, you is through, about to find out the hard way. Let him pass all that stuff, and then let that tariff mess stick around. See what happens to your money. Oh, you can put whatever you want, but you about to get the rice aroni treat. It's gonna come back. Mm, It's about to come back, and it ain't gonna be nothing nice. Yep, about to get it. Should have stayed with Bobby Brown and said tenderoni, but y'all want to be rice aroni. Okay, it's about to get you, Lynn. So can't do nothing for you. What did he say again? I know he got into it with the refs or some mess, but he say anything? What he say again? Hmm. Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, that play. The dude tried to do reverse and he shot air. That's all it was. The ball got caught up in the net. I saw that reverse. He got mad because he was mad with his player. That's just like Luca last night. Because Luca should have gotten thrown out. Probably not. But Luca was frustrated because he wasn't getting no help last night. Yeah, I seen that. I did a video about that too. It's coming out soon. Luca was really mad because LeBron and Reeves ain't stopped nothing. He's got to go one on one and one, and they can't stop nothing. That's what the frustration was. That was actually Luca playing through JJ last night. That's what that was about. That's why they got their butt blowed out at the end. That's what that was about. That was a frustration.
frustration, wanting to get some chart light under their butt, and they didn't have nothing. Yeah, LeBron's old. Sure. You see, because his mind is telling him that, hey, we can hang here. And you can to an extent. But if you got running against them young legs all the time, and Austin Reeves is playing over his head, as you were alluding to the J, where you try, he ain't cut out for that. If they blowing the team out, he looks great. But man to man and have to do that all night, KD been old. KD should have retired like last year. He's stat padding, yo. He don't do nothing. He should retire now. Save some dignity. Get out. And lay, because you ain't gonna morph into Kawhi Leonard. We don't see a Kawhi Leonard where you gonna morph. Yeah, he got 27 points a game and it looks nice, but that team sucks. They quit on their coach, they quit on themselves, they can't play with each other, and they are garbage. So I don't even waste my time talking about them. Cause he's old black man getting frustrated. Cause he ain't got no one to cover his behind. That's why. Them cats don't play no defense. There's no backing help. There's no picks. They play a bunch of one-on-one ball. This ain't the days when he could go hide behind Steph or Russell or even Kyrie. Yep. They getting his pockets picked too. And he got Ant talking trash and all kinds of cats are hanging on the rim talking trash to him. He getting his legs wobbled and nobbled. He can't do nothing no more. As good as he plays now, he's on teams that can only win 35 games. Let that sink in. As good as he can play now. So he better stat pad all the numbers he got and try to catch Jordan or Wilt, scoring wise, because he ain't getting no more rings. It's not just that. He's ineffective. It's empty calories, yo. His health is shot, but his impact is shot early. 27 plus points and 5, 6 boards and rebounds don't mean nothing. Team ain't nothing but a 30 plus win team. He's not effective, yo. That's what's up. Them days is gone. So they're gone. Let me know when you're on tomorrow, because I'll be on after. Yeah, take care of a couple things. Because I'm going to get ready to head on out. I'm glad to have you back, though. Appreciate you back. I got some more videos I'm working on, and I just gonna edit. Yeah, but see, this is the thing. The defense is down, and he's older, and he doesn't have a coach, and he doesn't have a structure, and that's what's noticeable. And he's not aging gracefully. He should have been smart and either try to get caught up with Houston or go somewhere where he could hide behind somebody where they could cover him. And all he had to do was cherry pick. But he stood out there with Devin Booker and he got exposed badly. Which just goes to show you that Devin Booker and Beal are overrated. Because Devin Booker, you can't hide behind him because he's looking to hide behind someone. And Bradley Beal talked all that trash and they suck. So they're one of the biggest disappointments I've seen in years. There's no way in the world they should be no 10 games under 500 with a championship head coach. It's embarrassing, but they stink. That's it. Anyway, I'll be on tomorrow. Let me know tomorrow when you're on. Glad you're back. This is like old times again. We had a real interesting debate up in here, so we'll fire it up again. Appreciate you. A shout out to Charlene, wherever you are. Thank you for coming through. Jay Will, you was interesting. Sporting page. Everybody that came through, thank you. And if y'all up there watching, y'all come on here and click and give up some too. So don't be shy. All right, we'll catch you next time. Appreciate you. Peace. The best. I'm out.